Who are you? Where are we? Who am I? Yes,
So,
introduce yourself first, and then I guess we'll get
yes,
into the fun. So we could start now.
perfect.
Nat, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. So my story is pretty interesting, but not very different from most people, I shall say, maybe. So if we went back in time, I'm born and raised in Lebanon, and I came here when I was 6. So coming from immigrant parents, you are limited with the career options. My daughter, either doctor, dentist, or lawyer. You didn't really have much options. So went to elementary and high school in an Armenian school because my mom is Armenian and my dad is Lebanese. So for them to feel safe, they brought me here into this Armenian school. So you could imagine that we ate the same food, did the same jokes, and spoke the same language. So I didn't really know much about the outer world. So we graduated Sec 5. I went to college. I'm like, doctor, dentist, lawyer, health science. So I went into health science, loved math, loved chemistry, hated physics. I failed it 2 times. I'm like, I don't think this program is for me. I'm like, what's close to doctor? Nursing. So I went into nursing. It's 3 years when you do your technique in college. And on the last year, I quit. And I really felt like a failure. I'm like, oh my God, I'll never be what my parents wanted me to be. So I felt lost. And I did what maybe any crazy 20-year-old would do. I booked a one-way ticket to South America. No parents, no pressure. It was just me and my cousin. And somehow I needed to understand, what does Nat want to do? I didn't want someone to draw my map, like the map of my dreams or my life. And I'm like, but what is it that I want to do? So I tried to see, I saw people journaling, I saw people doing acro yoga and yoga, but I never really understood what it was. But it kind of like planted that seed in me. So that was the first like seed entering the subconscious. So I come back, I felt even more lost. And then my friend once told me, go try Toastmasters. I'm like, what is Toastmasters? Long story short, public speaking. You go every week, there's a session, you practice your public speaking and your leadership skills. I'm like, I love to talk, so maybe I should go. So I tried, I loved it. I really felt like I was in my element. Every week I prepared a speech, I got a lot of feedback. And then one thing led to another. I started working as a waitress, and then I started working at this yoga studio, which was Idolem, still is.
Mhm.
And I started doing yoga. But when my cousin first introduced it to me, like if we were to go a few years back, I hated it because I went and I'm like, what is this hot yoga? What is this? It's not for me. But long story short, COVID happened. I did a 30-day yoga challenge, and then 30-day became 60, 90, and I got hooked. So when I did my receptionist, I'm like, now I have unlimited yoga. Let me try. And I started doing it and doing it and doing it. And I started feeling like this shift in me. I used to have a lot of anger, a lot of road rage. And then slowly, slowly things started shedding. And it's almost like I felt lighter and lighter. So one day I decided to just deepen my own knowledge about the practice. So I took a training. To be a certified yoga teacher, you have to do 200-hour training. I did it here in the Mile End for a month. It was intensive, but I just took it for me. I didn't think I was going to become a yoga teacher. And then a friend of mine, who was a football coach, American football, he's like, my young athletes need yoga. I'm like, but I'm not a teacher yet. I'm still learning. And then the rest is history. I started teaching the linebackers online, loved it. I started realizing that inner coach in me, and I finished my certification. I passed everything. And then from that day, I remember I just started teaching until today. It's been 3 years. I love it. It has the public speaking side, it has the movement side. And I really feel like I found my thing.
I have so much questions for you now.
Go for
Okay, so
it.
let's start with number one. You were telling me about your journey with it, and you said, I felt lost. How important was it going on that trip that helps you see? Because that was essentially how it all started, right?
Yeah.
By seeing that.
It was mostly to feel like I wanted to get out of a cage. That trip for me was like,
Symbolism.
exactly. I don't want to know what college is, what university is. I didn't want to do that because someone told me. This trip, I got to pick it. I got to choose it.
You know what I love about your story too? It's a little similar like mine, is you weren't so much like rejecting what your parents were saying. You went through it, you did it, you were open minded, you did it, and then you kind of realized along that journey that this is not for me or this doesn't feel authentic to what I'm supposed to be doing. And you kind of like mixed in your own journey with it. Like to me, yes, of course, it was, like you took a random trip to like, South America. Obviously, when we're repressed for so long, we do extreme things like that
It's
because
true.
it's like that breakout moment. Of course, it's supernatural that you did that. When we look back at it, it's like our parents, they want what's best for us,
Yeah.
right? But how do we know? Like, how do they know what's best for us? And sometimes we don't even know what's best for us. We have to kind of explore. And that's kind of with me too. I did like night school. I was like, oh, this ain't for me. I tried the college. I'm like, I don't like it. I tried trades, and it all gets you. And then even when you think you have your thing, when you have a successful business and you have everything you want, you still grow out of that. So it's so funny that like there is no wrong. There's just
Yeah.
wherever you are at the moment. And it's almost like you had to go through that, like
100%.
felt like you were in a cage to make yourself fully come out. It's like you have to bring yourself to the extreme to get to where you're
To
at
the
now,
other
which
side.
is what I kind of want to get into. But before that, I've been seeing recently how important resistance training is, especially for women. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so in the past, obviously, like we're talking about like what the narrative is like, oh, only men, that you look big or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been obviously the content I've been seeing is that resistance training is super important for women to put on muscle,
Yeah.
okay, and for longevity. But very rarely I don't see people speak about how important yoga is for men. And I love that you said that there was that football coach that got you to
Mm-hmm.
do yoga with the linebackers. Obviously, we know women love yoga. Okay,
Yeah.
when I do a yoga class, I'm like the outlier. So how important is it for actually men to do yoga? What's the benefits? Could you tell me about that?
Yes. So yoga is important for humans. Dot. Like that's
Beautiful.
how I see
I
it.
love that even more.
I don't like to separate it men and women. If you have a body, you need yoga, but you also need a bit of everything. Why is it important for men? It's because men do tend to, like, if we were to generalize a bit, tend to go more to the gym, more do like extreme sports. Like everything in life, you need a balance. You need a bit of everything.
Yes,
And the reason why men should do yoga, and I recommend it again for everyone, whether you're young, old, man,
absolutely.
or woman, is to have an optimal health. So, for me personally, my own belief is for my body to be healthy, I need to know how to strengthen, make sure I have strong muscles, but I also need to have flexibility, but I also need to have mobility. All these combined is what
Make a
makes
whole.
make a
Yeah.
home, because for example, when I was teaching yoga at a Monster Gym in the West Island, I would see the guys and I would see them all like beefed up and they would carry those weights, and yes, amazing. But then if they were to reach something from the back, their range of
Mm,
motion sucked because they
yeah.
couldn't fully extend, so they lacked a lot of mobility. So in order for you to feel good, you definitely need to integrate stretching, mobility, strength training. And men tend to really stay on the extreme of, okay,
Yeah.
strength, muscles, and forget the stretching side.
Absolutely.
And I've seen that in athletes too, with myself. I wish I knew the power of yoga when I was a soccer player, because now my knees pay the price and I didn't warm up properly. I didn't stretch properly because it was just like a little thing we would do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Same
But
here.
it's understanding the
Oh,
body, it's body awareness.
yeah.
And it's the same thing like in yoga now, when you fall on a good teacher, she has to integrate all of that. Like it's building abs, it's building muscles, but it's also understanding how mobility works. Because mobility is for you to not feel pain when you're 7 years old and you drop something and you go down to
Mm.
grab it. You're not going to go, it hurts because I get up. So it's
Forget 70 at like 30.
30 or 40, or squatting, the
Yeah.
squat we did before.
Yeah.
People can't even stay 10 seconds into that squat. And it's supposed to be something that the human body can do, unless you have conditions or whatever, everybody has their exceptions, but we're supposed to be able to move like that. So why man should be in it? Because not only on the physical level, they will create more space, they will release more, But on an emotional level, because if we were to go into the deeper practice of yoga, a man carry a lot of unsaid words. You know, you can't cry, you can't express, no, 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 you have to suppress. So there's something that happens when you move in a yoga setting, in a yoga session, and it's to release things that men have suppressed for years and years and years, but they have no idea that that's happening. It's more on the subconscious level.
You know what I love about what you're saying? And I'm seeing this more and more as I've been like integrating a lot of the feminine. And if I look at the big picture, again, we're just generalizing, but why a lot of girls are like scared to do upper body, because obviously leg day is leg day. But you know, it's everyone thinks like, oh, you're gonna look like a man. Like a girl would look at me and be like, oh, I don't want to look like that. But it's like, but you won't look at that. And I guess a guy, why they would be close to yoga is because, oh well, it's not very manly to do those stretches or whatever. And it's that like framework in our minds. And it brings me to the point of like why we need each other to show us, to put us as a
Yeah.
whole, and to find that, let's say, harmony of, okay, well, to be well rounded, you need that mobility and you need the strength. You know, like they're both needed. It's not
Yes,
one or the other, it's
exactly.
both. You need to find that neutrality or that like beautiful harmony to fit the two. And obviously, we're in like a world of extremes. It's only normal. So the people who actually like find a way to integrate both, and every athlete that I speak to, like truly athlete, maybe my trainers or the people that are like doing, let's say, sport on a high level,
Mhm.
they integrate hot yoga. Like I
Wow.
was speaking to some trainers at the gym, and I, you know, like, what's your daily, like, what's your weekly routinely split? And the guy was like, yeah, I train maybe like 4 times, like resistance training, and then I'll do like a hot yoga.
I love that.
For me, it's like I haven't done yoga in a while, but I was at a point where I was doing it
I
and I felt
remember.
like so good. And it actually gave me more energy and more recovery to
Yeah.
go to the gym. So now, let's say, just for context, I'm doing like a 3 day resistance training. I'm doing like an upper and a lower. So twice up, two times upper, 1 time lower. When I was doing yoga, I was doing push, pull legs, upper body, and then maybe another leg session. So on top of doing mixed martial arts twice. So I
Yeah.
was working out almost every day and my recovery was so much better. Now I feel like obviously it's lacking. Why? Because, well, you know, like as I was saying on the mat, like, you know, I'm doing a squat and my hips are like screaming at me, or I'm super sore, my back. And obviously the heavier we lift, you know, we get sore and
Yeah.
our joints are being broken down. So yoga is a great way to like recovery. So I love putting those together.
Especially the heat, you know, because there's regular yoga and
Yeah.
then there's hot yoga. Our muscles love the heat. And those men that say, oh, yoga is not for me and everything, my argument now is, okay, brother, you're making it about you, but what about your body? The moment I was able to do that discernment, it's not about you. It's not about whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You want to make that millions. You want to become that CEO. Well, what does your body need? Do it for your body.
Absolutely.
We often make it about us. It's not about you, buddy. It's about your body needs this. So as long as you care and you want to achieve those dreams that you so highly speak about, give your
Okay.
body what it needs.
Let's talk about that. So yoga, from what I understand from it, this is my own personal opinion, is like a connection to your body. You take yourself out to realize that there's another, because there's almost a like intertwined relationship. So there's, let's say, the observer and then your body.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you have to be able to detach. So from what I understand, like those people that say, oh, yoga is for not for me, it's they're attached to their identity. So how does yoga help you kind of like realize to take yourself out of, oh well, it's not for me or whatever, and show you that, oh well, you have this body and it's not you completely. It's almost like something, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's very hard to explain without, you know, because we're talking about a very like spiritual aspect or like
It is.
an observer's aspect, but it is that it's like detaching
Mhm.
from your body and realizing what's the best objective thing to do, because that's what I had to come to realize. I had an ACL surgery. I had like, you know, knee pain at like 27, or, you know, whenever I got hurt in my mid 20s, and I'm like, this can't be, you know, like this is not how I want to live my life with back pain and this and that. So integrating yoga, which again I should definitely start doing again more fully, but when I was, it changed like my life completely.
People who tell me I don't do yoga, it's not for me, chances are they've never tried it or they've never given it enough time or chance. Now, going back, me, I'm going to share my experience to kind of answer your question. When you start practicing on your own yoga mat, you start noticing patterns and behavior. You start understanding about your body, and you just start becoming more and more aware. And that observer, that disconnect to connect, is when you start seeing, first when you start practicing like we did before, you start realizing, oh shit, yo, like my hips have been craving love and I've been neglecting them. So already on by being on your yoga mat, you start understanding where is lacking, like what's not balanced here, what does my body need. Okay, my neck feels tense up, this. So first of all, you start observing what your body lacks. Okay, because then you start doing poses and you're like, I never knew I couldn't do this until I'm trying now, and you realize. So first you start understanding where your body lacks and what it needs. And then the more you start practicing and practicing, not only you start realizing that the physical shift that happens, but then it's kind of magical. And I guess I'm still searching for the words myself because I'm a student for life. And it's still something I'm noticing when I'm practicing on my yoga mat. It's almost like you go in a trance. You're very aware where you are, but you go in a trance and you go to deeper levels of the posture. So I often say there's like 5 steps to a pose. You take around 60 seconds to find your pose, especially in yin. This happens in yin where you stay in poses for 5 minutes and longer. And then you connect your breath. And then you start visualizing what's happening inside your body. You understand where you need to send your breath. So you start feeling open. Then you create more space. And then the moment your body has more space, you kind of go on another dimension and you start getting downloads and answers of things that have maybe nothing to do with your practice. But because the body keeps the score, there are things that are living in our bodies and we have no idea. When we're on that mat, you start noticing. You're like, oh my God, this has happened. It's like a domino effect. This happens, this happens.
Do you think that noticing happens in the stillness or through breath or both?
Well, to be in stillness, you need to be connected with your breath. And I feel that's one of the only practices where you get to actually be with yourself. Because gym, we often put headphones. There's so many people around. Yes, a yoga studio, there's also so many people around. But again, because you're on your yoga mat, it's like it's you, it's your space. But it takes time to get to that level. But I feel it's one of the rare practice where you get to be with you and fall into that observer. But I'm sure maybe with jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai, they all kind of say the same thing, just in different ways ish. But I feel because I'm in stillness, because I'm noticing my pattern, and because I'm going back and back again, it's repetition. You can't understand all this if you just go for 5, 6 times.
Absolutely.
You need to create like this body memory and go like consistently.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing is definitely starting and getting into like a rhythm into it. I know for me when I was doing it, it was almost like every time I try to create a habit, I try to make it easy. The problem is the habit was hard for me to do because it was far away. I had to dedicate so much time to get there,
It's not
and then an hour.
convenient.
So it was not sustainable.
Yeah,
For me, my gym, it's close, and I make it easy, but I also make it hard. I walk, so it's like
you
when I
are.
get there, I know I did the hardest part. Walking there was the hardest part. Getting there, so getting anywhere is the hardest part.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
it's like if you could do yoga, just starting is the like the best thing you could do.
Yeah,
And the thing is, when anyone who's just starting yoga, it's hard to get into the habit of, oh well, let me like get onto a mat, let's say at my house, and do yoga because I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah.
So to start, it's like that tough place where you need a teacher.
You need a guide.
Because
Yeah.
when I first started, I would have never been able to do yoga on my own. I needed to be in the class. I needed you to
100%.
like guide and show. And I loved your style too because yeah, you're in a class, but you're still walking around. You're still going to each person and say, like, oh, don't arch your back, or
Yeah.
like straighten up, or make sure that you're aligned here this way. So by creating that bodily awareness, it helps you get better. It helps you want to do it, and it helps you connect with the practice all in itself. But it's like for most people, it's just the accessibility of it. Obviously, a gym, there's so much gyms everywhere, but even going to the gym is hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's like it's something that you just have to want to make time for. If I want to, like continue down and be sustainable, it's something I just have to do. It's something
Mhm.
that I know is so valuable and important, and I'm fighting with it too. And it's like, okay, well, how could I like continue doing it? So I
Yeah.
have a mat in my room and I try to do some stretches and I try to do as much as I can. Another teacher told me, she's like, even if you just do a 1 hour session once a week, it's not enough. You have to do like, it has to be like an everyday thing. It's
Yeah.
movement. You don't just go for a walk a week and then you sit on the couch for the rest of the week. You have to like make it a daily practice.
Part of your lifestyle.
Yeah, you know, so if
Definitely.
like you're not doing it on a daily basis, you don't have time to, let's say, connect with that
Yeah.
muscle memory that you're talking about.
But also, what I like to tell people, it's like, don't think of yoga just like the physical, like going to class and doing a full session on the mat, because yoga has different components. Like maybe meditation, maybe you already do some yoga, but it looks more like meditation or
Yeah.
conscious breathing. Like just by doing a breathing technique every day, if you think of it, the only time you're really breathing mindfully with awareness, it's either you're meditating and you're doing a breathing technique. If not, like the rest of the time, you're just, your body automatically
Yeah,
breathes
autopilot.
and autopilot. And once someone told me, they're like, Nat, if you just do 10 breaths every day consciously, like you inhale for 5, you exhale for 5, but 10 breaths, that's like recharging your batteries for like the whole week already by doing that once a day. And that could look like yoga too. So maybe you shouldn't start by going and finding a studio. Maybe start by breathing more with awareness. Maybe sit with
Start
yourself
small.
in silence. Start small, you know? Like put your phone to the side, 20 minutes, sit and stare at a candle, because there's different ways to meditate. You could have guided meditation, you could eye gaze, you could do whatever. You could just lay down and stare at your ceiling, but with just nothing else. Like just sit with yourself. For me, yoga is like sit with yourself. Your body is talking to you. You haven't been listening. This is what yoga is. And then movement. I often tell people, if it's not yoga, walk, dance, swim. Just get the body flowing, because that also allows you for creativity, allows you to move faster in your projects. So it's beyond just like physical health. It's like so helpful in
It
everything.
encompasses the mind, body, and the spirit. You were saying how yoga helps you, like is something speaking to you, and
Yeah.
you know, like your body's trying to tell you something. It's time for you to listen. I want to shift the conversation into how yoga has helped you express yourself fully. Because when I first met you, you've always been like super confident, super like,
Yeah.
you know, open and like very charismatic. And like, you always used to make me laugh. I used to show up to the class, and I remember you saying once, by the way, if you guys think I'm crazy, you're absolutely right, I am. You know, like
I would say
you're just like
that.
so open about it, and you're like, come on, wake up, people. Like you're not shy to like call people out and
Yeah.
just say like, come on, you're living life, let's go, you know, like let's go,
Yeah.
wake up. You're, you know, like this is yoga. Come on, meditate. Do this is what you're here for. Push yourself. How did it help you with expressing yourself? Because I think that's obviously a perfect thing to segue
Yeah.
into, where everyone is essentially looking for a way to express themselves in their most authentic, like whatever's inside. How do you express it? And a lot of the times, how do you express what's going on inside of you? Words are not enough. How did yoga or your journey get you to expressing yourself a little bit more?
Well, before I even was able to express in words, I was expressing with movement, and it was mostly form of dance. And it was mostly like dancing in my room, dancing in front of a mirror. We maybe all done that. Moving the body definitely helped me express, but by movement alone. And I never really understood why I love moving so much, like dancing so much. And it's because, again, going back to coming from like immigrant parents, you're not allowed to say this. Don't speak your mind. Stay silent. Like you always suppress, 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 suppress. So it bottled up in my body. And again, subconsciously, I guess my body felt like the need to move. So I started dancing and moving. And when I tell you I love dancing, we would go to chalets with my friends, and there's the speaker and it's me and the speaker. I go to the speaker almost like I'm making love to it, have my eyes closed, and I'm in another world. There's a difference between, side note, dancing to the music or letting music move you. So dancing to the music, you're still kind of like in performance mode. You need to follow the rhythm, go tick when the song goes tap, and it's like it's calculated. But letting the music move you, that's where ecstatic dancing comes from. And it's like not even thinking how you look, how you're supposed to move. Just close your eyes and let the music guide you.
Whatever
And
comes out, comes
whatever
out
comes out, comes
without
out
judgment.
without judgment. And this is why I started loving yoga a lot, a bit at first, but then a lot. It's because although there's a teacher guiding you, I often tell people, guys, if you need to take 20 breaks, you take 20 breaks. I'm here to guide you, yes. But if you feel like doing anything else, if you feel like staying longer in your side neck stretch, stay longer. I'm here to help you listen to your body better, not to do what's best because your body knows best.
Yeah, it's not Simon Says.
Exactly. But when you have like lack of body awareness, you need a guide,
Yes.
a bit like you said. But going back to your question, how yoga allowed me to express better, it's because I started creating more space in my body. It's as simple as that. If you want your ideas to flow, if you want creativity to flow, if you want productivity to flow, you need to move. To complete the answer too, while like the things I've realized now that I've been teaching for 3 years, not only you start noticing what type of teacher you are, but you know that confidence we were talking about and how I can self-express even more and I say even more stupid shit in class and I don't care if I'm being judged. It's because I'm feeding my self-esteem. So people tend to mix self-confidence and self-esteem, and they're two different things. Self-confidence comes from repetition. So now I've been teaching yoga for 3 years. I'm definitely confident in the way I'm teaching because repetition
Right.
allowed me
To
to
build it.
build self confidence. But what we tend to forget sometimes and what we neglect is self esteem. And self esteem is when nobody's listening, when nobody's watching, what is my inner thought? What is my mind chatter? So I compare Nat, first year of teaching, versus Nat today. First year of teaching, I would finish a class and self esteem, I would go, I'm like, oh my God, I think I spoke too much. I maybe said something and triggered someone. I forgot to stretch the left side. I'm sure somebody noticed. I'm not good enough. Self esteem, low, low, low. And then the more my self confidence grew, it doesn't mean that self esteem automatically grows. You have to feed it. So you start, okay, getting feedback. Even if people tell you, wow, you're good, your self esteem can still stay low. It is you and up to you only to feed it. And that's by what? By sitting with yourself, by learning, studying more, by being like, bro, I'm the best yoga teacher and I know what I'm doing comes from the heart. And it's like you pep talking with yourself and also surrounding yourself with people who see you and boost you. And there I started like more and more building my self-esteem, and now it's like they're both high. So I enter the room and like with full humility I feel unstoppable because I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm planting seeds. I know that I'm impacting at least one person, and if it's one person then my mission is done, you know. And that's it, just sharing my personal stories and creating that safe space. Because for me the most important growing up is oftentimes I felt like I had to not speak my mind because I would feel judged. I know what it felt like. I've lived it when I was young, and now I want to make sure that when I'm in the room and I'm leading the class, I need to make sure you all feel safe because I want to feel safe. I want you to be seen. I want you to be heard because it's simple, yo. At the end, the human desires three things: to be seen, to be heard, and to be understood. And if I could check all these three, then my class is successful. And that's yoga. Like you leave there and you're like, wow, there's a space where they just get it, or I just feel like home.
Let's go back to what you were saying before, how when you started year one, the self-talk that you had
Yeah.
versus now. How did you take that self-doubt and use it to get better? How do you find that harmony, that balance of, okay, well, gaining that self-esteem, but also being realistic and saying, well, let me get better and truly build myself up properly, and not through like this like fake foundation. It's not telling yourself you're good. Like you have to really believe that, and it's showing yourself through your own process. You share your personal stories in your session. How important is that?
The second part answers the first part. When I first created Instagram and whatever, we were young, we would post stupidity. But like the last 2, 3 years, I never realized, even before teaching, actually, I never realized that I was already building my brand and attracting the audience that makes sense with me. And it's by being fully myself. It's authenticity. It's like dancing and not giving a shit about what people think and all that. How I was able to keep my self esteem high and not just do self pep and whatever, it's how I show up in everything that I do. So, people that came and see me in my class, when I first started, I was definitely in performance because I was still learning, I was still understanding my teaching style. But 6 months after, I think it was Cindy, I asked Cindy, I'm like, do you like prepare your classes? Because again, I feel like when I prepare something, it feels like I'm performing,
Mm.
but I want to go with intuition. So Cindy told me, you'll just know when to let go of the book and move with intuition. So the self esteem came when I trusted that I got this, and I just started guiding by improvising fully. Now I improvise 90% of the time because 3 years gave me confidence to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But sharing my personal stories and adding my own little touch is what made me like one of the top ranks of teachers at Idalem, and I have the least experience because of the rawness. And it's so important. Like everyone who's learning personal brand, if you don't put your raw and authenticity in,
You're just a copy paste.
you're just a copy
Yeah.
paste. That is one. And there's a lot of techniques I do. There's an album in my iPhone that says reminders when in doubt. And I've screenshotted over 60. I saw the other day, I'm like, shit, I'm already at 60. I did it beginning of the year. And it's screenshots of people like rooting for me, giving me support of things I've posted. And every time I do doubt, because yes, the self esteem will never be 100%
Absolutely.
intact and it stays there. You know, there's new experiences, there's new challenges that are going to make your self
Mm-hmm.
esteem. You're not good enough, imposter syndrome. So I go to that album and I really do it. And I swear, Nick, it's so helpful. Like, I recommend you and everyone to do it. And I go back because it's so easy to forget how good you are, right? That voice.
Absolutely.
And they're like,
Absolutely. Especially when you have a high bar for yourself, because you always keep raising the bar because it's only normal, right? Like you get to a certain place. Let's say you pass grade one.
yeah,
It's only normal. You got to go to grade two. You know, at this
exactly.
point, you're at a certain level where you can't just stay because you're always seeking growth. We always want to grow. We always want to evolve. And even if you don't put that bar for yourself, like it's not consciously there,
Yeah,
it's there because you're always seeking growth and evolution.
yeah,
So it's like, yeah, of course the challenges are gonna come. Of course you're gonna
exactly.
forget what you've done.
You need to have those tools accessible because if not, you're gonna like
Yeah.
easily lose it.
You just have to have things in your corner when things get hard. Are you putting the cards in your favor? In my notes, I have book summaries that really hit me. I have like Atomic Habits. I have Deep Work. I have like all kinds of things, and or like Laws of Human Nature. And whenever I need something, it's there.
Yeah.
I don't have to like go. It's just it's so accessible. And I love your idea. I'm probably gonna do some of that. But
Yeah.
for that I try to like have a great relationship with myself.
Yes.
And this is where like I try to be super disciplined around like who I surround myself with, and I try to make sure that I'm my own best friend. So I wanted to ask because like for us we understand what we mean showing
Yeah.
up authentically and not being someone we're not. And I know like for a part of my life I had to play a certain role. I was a real estate agent, and I remember I was reading like one of my ads and it's so like copy paste because you have to put yourself in a box,
Yeah.
right? And now like what I stress to, let's say like if it's friends that are joining real estate, it's like just be you. At the end of the day, there's yes 100% of people that you're targeting. Okay, you want to feel like you said, be heard, understood, seen, right? So people want someone they could relate to.
Yeah.
If you're just acting like everybody else, there's no relation to it. What it means to me to be authentic and organic, understand who you want to be first. Because if you ask me like 10 years ago, be yourself, it's like, well, what if I suck? You know, like what if I just like, what if I'm a douchebag? What if I'm arrogant? What if I'm very angry? What if there's stuff inside me that like I haven't like understood yet? So obviously like kind of like be aware of yourself first, and then you'll see that who you think you are is not really who you are. We had to first see who we weren't,
Yeah.
to find out who we were. It just begs the question like, what is authenticity?
I feel like there's different settings, different environments where you get to tune in more and less. But I really love that you said that you have to get to know yourself. Like me, ever since I'm 20, so 11 years ago, I just started falling into books and reading and everything that has to do with growth and self-help and personal development. I became curious. So definitely for you to understand authenticity and how to be authentic, you have to learn.
Well, you just said it. You have to be curious,
curious
and just explore.
Yeah.
And like explore yourself as if beginner's mind.
Yeah, but the most simple way I could explain authenticity now today with the thoughts that are in my brain and to keep it short and sweet is like in business they say on stage and backstage, on scene and off scene. So everywhere you go, you have to get on a stage, on a scene, and wear a mask. Like you said, when you're a real estate agent, Nick wears a mask, professional real estate agent.
Right.
When you're off scene, you're you're you, like you're a crazy you, but there's, you gotta
Right.
like control it. So for me, authenticity is, how can I be off scene while being on scene?
The thing is, like, a lot of people misconstrue it, where it's like, even as a real estate agent, yeah, I had to put on, let's say, a mask, but you still have to find organicness
Your
in,
way,
yeah, like,
yeah.
how could you put both together? Not completely not be you, but also like integrate yourself into that,
Yeah.
let's say, role you're putting out for yourself. Because imagine me just showing up as a real estate agent, like, what's up? Like, it's not, you have to have a
Yeah,
professional,
there's
there
a
has to be
minimum.
attributes
Yeah.
to it that adds to your organic self.
100%.
So,
And this is why personal stories, before you ask me how important it is, personal stories equals authenticity. Because right now I'm being personal
yes.
to the point where when I don't feel like going and teaching, I will show up to class, look at the students in the eyes and be like, guys, I don't feel like being here today.
I think that's what authenticity is. It's just being real. Like
It's just being real.
sometimes I would tell clients, like, I don't think you should do this. Like, it's giving your
It's
authentic rather than just the,
yeah,
like, it's that copy
like
paste.
I don't have to go in. It's not true that a yoga teacher feels like giving yoga
Like,
every
you
time.
can't give a prompt as
But
your.
you see, my business friend didn't agree. He's like, Nat, you can't do this. Like you can't share what you truly. I'm like, nah. If I talk about authenticity and to be raw,
Yeah.
I need to start
Embody
showing
it.
and embody. So definitely, authenticity is you just be vulnerable, share your personal stories, just show people that you're also human and you're not as perfect as people think you
Yeah.
are. Because at some point, people idolize you too.
Do you think it's important to put yourself in a setting where you could do that? Like, obviously, it's only normal that not everybody could take that advice, or
Yeah.
not everyone could be in the position that me and you are in. And obviously, you have to you have to know where you want to put yourself. This is where
Exactly.
environment matters. Like, there's certain times where, as a real estate agent, I knew I had to show up, and it's like, it doesn't matter about how I feel. I couldn't tell a client, like, I don't feel like being here at 8 a.m. I'm hungover. I had to show up and shut up and show them the house. So it's like, yeah, to that level, authenticity is removed. But now, what I'm doing now is, I could say, hey guys, I struggle with this. Like, on my podcast, I say it because I don't want to come off as like I have all the answers. I don't. We're both students of life, and it's like, we're just sharing what our everyday, like, life is, because it's part of it.
100%.
So like, that is authenticity. It's kind of like being what's real in the moment, but also not attaching to whatever you're saying.
And the more you do it, the more you realize it's actually not that bad, and it becomes easier, and more people do it. It's just leading by example. It's just leading by example. Yeah. But there's so much to say.
Yeah.
We need a episode 2.
There is. That's actually a perfect way to end this off. I
All
think
right.
we said what
episode 2, because now we don't want to overwhelm the audience too.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll wait for you in my yoga class.
Sure.
Don't do it for you. Do it for your hips that are dying. Thank you, Nick. This was so much fun.
It was. Look forward to the next one.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Woo! I love it.